There it is.
Forget you guys could see that.
No, I actually wasn't watching at that time, but it's on. It's recorded. No, I just started. I just started recording. Anyway, so here we are in session 3 of the Prisoners of the Drow, and our hardy crew is now back in the main cell after doing some work shifts and discussing their next stage and how to get out of this place before they're taken away and sold to the slave markets in the Underdark far away. I was just going through some NPCs recap. You had Bupido. Bupido with the bad libido. He's talkative, cunning Darrow. And the Darrow, of course, are like the blue-skinned kind of mix between dwarves. I think they're crossed between like dwarves and goblins, or what the Darrow were. And he's kind of a quirky guy, like many of these people are. You notice Bupido is kind of twitchy, and he mentions that he's kind of the chosen one. You heard him say a couple times, and you haven't pressed him on or anything, but he's praying to himself in his own language once in a while. Eldith the dwarf, who's a defiant and self-sacrificing character who you fear is going to get herself killed. Galen noticed. If she, Jim Jar, he's the Jeep gnome gambling addict, talkative guy, quite unlike any deep gnome you've ever met. Ront, the orc from the Ice Shield tribe. He worships Grumph, the orc god, and him and Eldith have bad blood, which is always about to simmer, you noticed. Cereth, he's a male drow, young, handsome if he wasn't so dour, and he was kind of twitchy himself and mumbles to himself a lot in his own language. He had a little connection with Galen. They expressed a little thing. Sushar talked about him. He's the Kutoa pacifist monk. He's already told you all, by the way, that he can navigate. He's talked about the place called the Dark Lake. Everyone should take note of this region. Anybody who knows the Underdark would right away recognize the Dark Lake, and its name is misleading. The Dark Lake is actually a mass series of water lakes and canals and channels and so on, and some with torrents and whirlpools and others safe. But it's a place that hooks up different places in the Underdark, and it's a place to go if you want to kind of disappear and flee to another place. The Jim Jar has mentioned that he knows about Blindenstone. You've also noticed had a brief encounter with the little myconid sprout named Stool. And it's like a little 4.5-foot mushroom man. And you notice that the mushroom man Stool tends to hang near Cereth of all the people in here. You notice that. They're often together. I don't know if you've noticed that in when I have them placed.
Who's Cereth again?
He's the Drow who it was a prisoner.
Right.
He was an accused murderer or something like
that. That Galen got a thank you from.
Yeah, indeed. And he also talked about joining your group to get out of here. And you'll know that he probably knows his way around the Underdark, possibly as much as anybody in here. He seems a well-traveled type. Ront, of course, from the surface, he doesn't appear to know much about anything down here. He looks like a bit of a killer, frankly. Bupido he's the twitchy Duergar. Bupido is a Duergar? No, he's the Darrow. Pardon me, the Darrow. And you don't know him that well. He kind of pounces around a little bit too. He's a bit of a weird guy. All right, so there you go. There's the NPCs that you know of. Plus, there's a Drow contingent, and there's 11 or 12 Drow guards, plus about 3 or 4 of these elite, including Asha, the junior priestess. You have Ilvera, the senior priestess, and the commander of the fort, and then you have Scarface or Jarlin, and last would be Shure. Now you know that Shore and Ilvara have something going on. Like he's the consort for Ilvara, if you follow. His name is Shore, and he's a real handsome, debonair, kind of ruthless drow. I think he's the one who threw Mira off the cliff.
No, those were the Quaggoth.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I think he was there. But anyway, if
Yeah,
not,
yeah, there were 2 guards, but they didn't want to get their hands dirty and just had them do it. But my question is, who's Pretty Face?
Asha.
I mean, Asha, that's her? Okay, just to connect the dots.
Yes, and
Okay.
She's kind of in charge of the temple. You noticed she's like the full-time, I guess, priestess of the temple. When Elvira is there, she's probably a senior, and Elvira scares you. Remember, she was the wicked. You know her as. All right, welcome, Alexander. Thanks for coming, buddy. Awesome.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, sorry I was late.
Alex.
I've just been reviewing things and probably things you already knew from last sessions, talking about the NPCs. Now, items you've gotten, I want to be aware that you can take time and take chances to look for things at any point. You could even push your luck and try some a little bit of create. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get you guys in trouble. You guys might have your plans already. But I'm going to have a couple things that I'm going to give you guys a bit of time to role play, and then I have some things, of course, that are bound to happen. They're going to come get the next work crew. So that's what's happening. In anywhere from, you figure, half an hour to anywhere to 2 hours. Sometimes they leave you alone. They're chaotic drow, so they don't. Their timetable is of unconcern.
Did they mention when they were going to come grab a few of us for questioning?
Oh yes, there was. Let's let that slide for now. Actually, yeah, just assume that you guys are left to your own in the pen.
Okay, so they didn't mention.
No, not really, but there was suspicions, and there always is. The Drow are paranoid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're now. I'm going to step outside. Just say there's possibly even a spy in the pen, because I mentioned that to you, didn't I, last time?
That's why I'm not saying jack shit. I just assumed that there'd be somebody in here.
Well, that's thinking, right? Possibly. I didn't mention that to one of you. Okay.
I think I said something like, yeah, okay, well, or I typed it like, who knows if that's a trap, and he just needs to find out who is going to bail or whatever. But I don't think we had identified someone specific as the rat.
If there is one, I'm.
There is always a rat.
There's always a rat. Even in prison, there's a rat.
Now, Topsy and Turvy, you have not really spoken to, and you haven't been hooked up in a work group with them yet, as is Stool. So there are people here you don't even know. You don't necessarily have to. I'm not saying you have to. You could go the whole adventure and just. You already have a pretty good group and so on, but who knows? They act a bit. Everybody acts a bit weird in this cell, of course. Topsy Turvy are no different. They're weirdos. They stick. They're brother sister twins. Of apparently Duergar stock.
Are you counting your tools, Alex?
No, I'm counting who we've kept track of. Like, I know people that we haven't talked to. We haven't talked much to the dwarf, but she was like heartbroken when you died. We haven't talked to Topsy and Turvy.
Or did I? Sorry, I had to.
I don't know. And we haven't talked to the myconid, the mushroom thing. If it talks, I don't know.
Stool. Hello?
And then, we talked with the orc because Habu beat the shit out of him.
Miri sort of technically talked to the myconid when she was telepathically talking to one of the other characters, kind of.
Really?
Okay.
Which she only knows at the moment.
Okay, so people we trust. So Sushar, the fish boy. What's the gambling one? Is that Burrito?
Oh, that's Jim Jar.
That's Jim Jar. Okay.
Classic.
Do we trust
Oh,
the Drow in here?
The Drow dude. Yeah, no. He said thank you, but that's not really an icebreaker. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know if I try. I feel like it's a little too on the nose to be like, oh, I wonder who it is in this Drow prison. I feel like it's a little too like obvious.
It's either red herring or some triple plan within a plan.
I buy it. Who else do we got? Oh God, I need to refer to the Facebook.
What do you have for a pool of stuff right now for equipment? That's another thing you guys should discuss.
Yes.
What you've gathered and what you need to get to continue. Now, on that note, real quick, Alexander, I envisioned your character. I remember we talked about using your components in a mechanical sense and to build like focuses and energy things and contraptions to shoot lasers or teleport. And I hinted, and you were like on it pretty quick about these crystals being an integral part of any mechanism. They can hold energy or focus it, or you can use them as sights, or I don't know, whatever you can think of. And then you can use them to create spells. So until you get a more elaborate system, you can't cast high-level spells. At the moment, you might be able to trick out a cantrip or two with just, a couple wires, and maybe if you could get a hand on a lens or something.
That's all I need.
Yeah, and then, but if you want to cast a second level or first level spell, even you're going to need an actual thieves toolkit.
Good luck getting wires in prison.
And then I'm going to bounce to Muri in a little bit here, but you guys could go ahead. We'll start. I suppose everybody's here. And any questions before we start? Everyone's leveled up.
Are we really all? Isn't someone missing?
Carly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
she's not joining today.
Her computer is down.
Oh.
Yeah, rip.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
I guess Abu sleeps again.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can we leave prison? Is that a thing we can do? I would like no more prison.
That's the
We're
plan.
gonna try.
You tried, Alex. It could have been so easy.
So close. So close.
So, I mean, who knows? It could have worked well.
All right, you guys have a moment to huddle. They're going to bring food in a little bit, but you have a moment where, and this prison's pretty big. You'll notice it's probably over 100 feet long, 40 feet wide. So I'm going to let you guys move your avatars if you wish. Jim Jar is a bit pesty in that he's always kind of hovering around, trying to get you guys to bed and stuff, and bugging you and asking you about like where you're from and do you got any sisters or. And he's just always hovering around, and I don't know how you want to deal with that, but. Lupito's chanting in his tongue over there to himself, kind of he's on his knees and he's hitting his back with these little switches.
So is Ront still down? Is he still unconscious?
No, he's up now. Was that fight that was before the last session. That was the first session, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that last shift he recovered and stuff.
Okay. And Habu is still unconscious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dope.
Actually, they're both unconscious. Then we don't have to deal with them.
Dope.
Unless you want to wake him up or whatever, you can try.
No.
Cereth is meditating. You think his eyes are closed and he's sitting down in kind of lotus position, as the Drow do.
I'm gonna signal over to Ingrid, just so like as I'm eating in my corner. Oh wait, am I in my corner? No, you're in my corner. Oh, okay. I meet you in my corner. Okay. I don't know about you, but I would like to leave.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody here is of that same mindset, yes?
Great, cool. Who do you think you can trust in here?
Nobody, but I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like,
Now, real quick, I sorry to interrupt, because you have to make sure you get some privacy, because at the moment,
we'll speak behind Habu. We'll use Habu as a bunker.
okay.
Our fat
Now,
absorbs sound.
who's included in this conversation?
I called Ingrid, but I mean, Galen can come too. Just like all PCs.
Bupido is mumbling. He's on his knees, chanting to himself in his tongue. Seems to in some religious sort of fervor. Seems to be ignoring you. So you're like, okay, whatever. Sushar is curious, and he's looking at you kind of with one eye. He's looking at you, and he sort of shrugs and gives this look, and he looks around with the other eye. You can tell is looking on the other side of the room as fish do, and then he kind of wanders over. Yeah. I sorry to intrude. I see that there you may be conspiring. Can I join you in my wisdom? Blah, blah, blah.
Do you have something you can offer?
I do. I know the Dark Lakes very well. I know how to get there as well.
Gross.
And then he bounces around side to side, as his kind are wont to do. They can't really sit still often. No, actually, this guy's different. He actually is amazingly tranquil. And he stands there sullenly with his hands like together, just waiting. I understand, of course, if you have different plans. But I assure you, I am here to help. I will not harm any creature, though. That is my solemn vow.
Can I insight him? See if I believe him.
Insight a fish?
Sure. I mean, I'm like, is this guy full of shit?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Of course. You can let her rip.
Ooh, wow.
Started. Again, you see into this deep, dark pool of this beautiful pupil, and your eyes sink into it, and your heart slows down, and you're actually have the first moment of tranquility that you've had here, and you calm right down. Like I noticed your character was getting antsy. It's sort of, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. You're bouncing off cabin fever, but you find you completely mellow, and you're inspired, if you're not already, by this.
Fish boy inspired.
And he's just and he just is so calm, and it's so strange. Like, you never thought you would actually admire a fish goggler. Like, their kind were kind of, shady best.
I'm just gonna like pause like mid sentence and just like, you're cool. Okay, all right. Just like, I dig you.
And you sense you can trust him with your mother. Like, that insight roll. He's
like,
so
I'd leave
genuine.
my pet with him.
Yeah.
All right.
So he bows, and then he says, "We must be careful, though. You see? And I'm not the others. I do not know them well. I do sense something about Cereth. He is disturbed, knows much. And Bupido, there's something about him is strange as well. But I sense he is not working for the Drow, perhaps." And then he kind of sits back. "Now I will just observe and listen. But I've told you, I know the Dark Lake area very well and can be a guide there. From there, he lists off like these different cities that he can reach from the Dark Lake. and it exposes a large area of the Underdark.
That's a plan B. Knife Ears boy, do you trust anyone else in here? I don't know. I'm running out of people. I don't make friends.
Oh, I'll go over there. Galen sort of gives a little bit of a shrug and says, frankly, it's hard to say in our given situation. I know I've chosen to trust you, but that's about where it ends. I think I also trust the half-orc, to be honest, if only because I don't see her being the most valuable spy. Ingrid is, well, a human, and what drow would dally with a human even as a spy, and that's about as far as I've gotten with that. Elbeth has been very outspoken about her hate for the drow, which, if anything, I actually find a touch suspicious. Jimjar, I think he's just a fool.
Well, to be fair, fools can be used very well.
Fools can also be a risk.
That is exactly my
Well,
thinking.
I think kind of with the situation that we are in, everybody and everything is at risk.
Well, I will share with you, from what I have heard through the gate, that risk is coming very soon. If I overheard correctly, we have 2 nights, and then all of us will be transferred slave pits. And I can tell you that is somewhere no amount of planning gets you out of.
Great.
We must
Okay.
move fast, and to that effect, I will choose to trust the people here. And Puck, to prove my trust in you, I will give this to you. And I go as though I'm saddled up right beside him, and I'll even sleight-a-handed, if you let me, to put the thieves' tool in his pocket with no one else seeing. 22, so however well that does, I slip it into his pocket and kind of give him a nod, and I say, remember, I know how to use this tool just as well as you, and in this moment, I have chosen to trust you. Just like the goddess Saloon forgives, I choose to trust.
Oh, you and your gods.
You're double inspired.
Do I actually get inspiration? I think humble break is becoming a theme for Galen. Humble break.
Well,
just reminding you, I'm awesome.
You see something strange about Puck. He seemed like this nervous, twitchy, scared person, but he just had this encounter with the Goggler and came kind of back looking like peace. He had his peaceful look in his face. He was just all reset. It's like, hey, it's all good. It's all gonna work out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Galen's gonna capitalize on that because Puck reminds him how he used to be, just kind of I hurt others because I'm hurt. So yeah, I give you the thieves tool.
Thank you. Okay. Who? Frankly, I kind of want to see if Eldith has something to say. I don't know. I mean, the people that have probably the furthest connection from the Drow are people that are the farthest away, which is you surface dwellers.
To add to this planning stage that we are doing here, what exactly is our plan to like, where do we plan to go after this? This place is crawling with drow.
Jim Jar pokes his head in. I know. I can get to Blindenstone.
How did
So
you
can
creep
I.
up on us?
And you see he's really
Where the hell
nimble.
did you come from?
Yeah, he just popped in and he just heard the last little bit. You don't think he heard much else at all. You spotted him and then you lost track because you guys were. And I rolled a DM roll here and he was pretty sneaky. And he's like, yeah. Remember, we're gonna sneak out of here, right? Right? I bet you half of my inventory, which is 62 gold pieces, that we can.
You'll give us 62 gold pieces if we get out of here?
Yeah.
Dope. Let's do it.
Well, what else do you have to offer besides a bet?
Well, let's see here. And he starts rifling around and reaching in his crotch and stuff and around his back. Now give me a... okay. He does pull out something. He goes, what's this? And he kind of shrugs, and Puck notices it right away. And Puck goes, ooh, because what he holds in his hand is a Carmelian gemstone. And I don't know how far you want to go with this, Alexander, but I was thinking about you use different stones and gems, and they can give you bonuses on certain things if you have the right gems lined up. I'm not going to say you can't cast certain spells, but they could be part of your components, right? And then you'll get bonuses if you. But anyway, with that gemstone, you can fandangle things, right? And focus cantrips and stuff like that. Like
That can help me.
so,
that
I'm
could
in.
be useful.
All right, yeah. And he's like,
Okay.
and he goes, so, what's up?
Jimjar, you seem to be quite perceptive. Do you happen to know where they are keeping our belongings by any chance? Have you seen them?
He starts laughing. I do.
Well, that would be very, very helpful if you would at least give us that information. It is very hard to pay you back in gold or to make bets when one does not have gold, right?
What do you have for Jim Jar?
Well, that would depend what Jimjar would want.
Can I have a kiss?
Jim Jaw, that is highly inappropriate.
That's gross. We're in prison, dude.
And I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't judge if you were a sex worker or a kiss worker, but you don't strike me as the kind.
Please stop. Please stop. Oh, God. I can't get it out of my brain.
Ingrid stops and she goes, yes, that is fine. And then she kisses him on the forehead.
Oh, God. It's gross.
So, okay,
You're
make
just jealous, Puck.
a persuasion roll. That was... and he looks a bit disappointed.
I am sorry, friend, but you do need to be a little bit more picky with your words. For one who makes deals, that was rather open-ended.
And he's kind of, hey, ladies, it's that's okay, that's cool, we're cool. Okay, no more kisses. We're cool. As he sees your big muscles and stuff, you're quite imposing. He's only about 3.5 feet tall, but he was trying to, get some tongue. All right, now Cat just hit the reset button. Oh no! We start roll 20.
Okay, so
Anyway.
where are our stuff?
he pouts and leaves.
Thank goodness.
Well,
He's gonna be busy now.
I wipe my mouth with my glove. Well, For someone who is so keen on deals, I'm sure we will press him about this later, but I mean, at least we know that he knows.
Yeah, he was
Do we
impressed.
trust his information?
Not particularly, but it is at least something that we can follow up on.
Okay, we're gonna
He
die.
seems nuts. Yeah, he seems nuts. You're just like, oh
Well,
no.
It is more likely for us to be enslaved for the rest of our lives rather than die, but
And then Sushar mutters something really quietly. He's lying about something. He knows where it is, but he hides something. And then he stays quiet as Jimjar has gone sulking off to topsy-turvy. They're all deep gnomes. Jimjar, Tops, and Topsy-Turvy are all deep gnomes, right?
Mhm.
The kiss, you blew the kiss. Ingrid. Imagine you had a crit there. You would have just been charmed for life. Okay.
I'm not very good at that.
No, I pictured you the old Iron Maiden days.
Yes,
Awkwardly.
I can do this. You are too small for me, but okay.
pulls him by the shirt. And it's just like, what?
Okay, so go ahead, and I'm gonna bounce to Miri for a minute, everyone. So if you can, you guys, you can take a bio break if you want, or you can listen or do whatever. It's I got a few things for her to roll through with me a minute. Just so happens she's separated. So Miri, as we discussed in our post there, you are in this cage inside the temple. There are two Drow talking quietly, like real quietly, almost imperceptibly. There are two blinded slaves that are singing this dirge to the Queen Death Mother. And I'll put on that sound effect now because it's cool, and this is what you hear.
Like it.
Un momento. So as they sing in this beautiful kind of harmonic, well, you'll hear it, and you're just taking it in, and your 8 eyes are never closed, reality, right? So it's hard to tell when you're sleeping. Your spectacles are still on, your two central ones. They didn't take them, and they didn't actually take anything from you. You even have your dagger and such that you had, which is odd. There's a beautiful, and I mean in spider kind, because you have an eye for that now, in a sense. And it's the prettiest spider you've ever seen. And not that you've seen a hell of a lot, but enough. And she's even got makeup on, and she's wearing like bracelets, and there's piercings and stuff. And you're not sure if she's done it, this spider, or it looks a bit Drowic in that. It's odd, but she seems like to be like a temp pet or something.
This?
Yes. You don't know her name or anything. You've never seen her before. She doesn't look like a maiden, or he. He.
So after trying to see if the door is simply open from the cage, nobody really pays attention to her, correct?
For the moment, you're not sure how long you've been in here, but you sense it's been a while.
I will try to make a history check to remember if I've heard about this spider statue in this room.
Yeah.
Just a second. One day I'm gonna have a good computer, I promise. History, here you go. There you go.
Okay, for some reason the spider, you don't sense good things from it, of course, and it looks menacing, and just the whole dark ones, their whole thing is dark and scares you. You sense that you could embrace it. The music is alluring, and the power there is evident. Like clearly it works. this dark religion, chanting and stuff. Yeah. Something's working for these people because they're the ones in charge. So you gain that. You can't really.
Do I have a
Your
name?
dreams haven't gotten it. Your dreams had more different stuff, like those dark dreams you had and whatnot, and the ones you just experienced were more associated with strange tentacles and eerie shrieks from some unknown dark place.
Yeah.
Pestilence,
Mm-hmm.
maggots, piles of maggots streaming
Yeah.
off.
I think I got a good picture of that. So she will try to see if she recognizes the room in combination with the chanting. Is she in the room where the regular chanting was taking place?
Yes.
Okay. And the only people in there are Scarface and Prettyface.
And the two slaves.
The two slaves, they are petting a spider, and the new creature in front of me, is it paying me any attention?
It's coming toward the cage, but because what happened is, I'll cut into the timing. I know, and then I'll be quiet in a minute. Because what happens is Scarface gets up and Prettyface, and a strange thing happens. They embrace quite passionately and quickly, and give a passionate kiss, and like lovers do, before he steps aside, and he doesn't leave through the main door. He goes to the trap door, which is behind the spider, and he opens this trapdoor, which is about a 4.5 foot round thing, and he leaves, steps out, and floats away.
I made an inside roll to see if she actually gets that connection, because she's been with Spiderkind for quite a bit, ever since she came around, and she doesn't really know like a lot of that behavior, if she gets the idea of that affection and if it seems to be forbidden.
Yeah, the clues line up. You're thinking, why? They're being very sneaky, and they're doing it. Oh, and just before he goes out the entrance, so he turns to the spider idol, and he puts his hands together in this strange way, and so that his 4 fingers come out in like a spider form, and he bows to the thing, and then he goes outside and leaves. And then the girl, she ignores the slaves, and she goes and makes herself a drink. And then I'll stop for a minute, so you have a bit of time to do whatever you want to do here quickly.
So Marie will recognize Prettyface, of course, and will recognize Scarface, but he's gone. So having observed that, she's basically just sitting there, and she's kind of like slurped there, having her arms hang down, and she looks wide-eyed, basically, and looking to Prettyface, she kind of tries to chitter out to her, her name, the name that the spiders typically call her, which is Prettyface.
Interesting. So yeah, okay. So make a performance roll for me.
Should have played a bard. Should have played a bard.
Your number you're aiming for is actually, it's not that difficult, because I'm going to say it's an 8, which is an easy roll, I think. It's just basically as easy as it gets. And so you call out, and she turns around with this goblet in her hand, and a smile comes on her face. You're awake. Pretty thing. She walks over, and you see the spiders beside her, and the spider's like, give me some ambrosia. Please, mistress, please. And she reaches down with the goblet and lets him drink a little bit out of it. And she turns to you. So, precious one, you're awake. Jorlin says that he found you in the passageways.
And she'll chitter back and say, I'm still new. I'm still learning and adapting.
Would you like to be my pet? You'll be like Tish Tish here. And he gives Tish Tish a little bit more, and Tish Tish is just, all right, stand up, Tish Tish, good girl. And she kind of puts her legs up, and
you can see her shake like her whole body, basically. Not her head, because that's unnatural for spiders. So she'll basically like swipe from one side to another and say, "No, I want to be free. I don't want to be in this cage." And she like kind of wraps around like the bars with her hands as if they were pincers.
you see a bit of a bitter look comes on her face, and nobody is free. Freedom is death.
You're free.
Ah, I'm special, though. And she looks fervently at the spider statue and gives a bit of an unnecessary bow.
But you and Scarface are not free, although you are special, right?
You are very clever, one. What exactly are you? She's muttering.
I'm still learning.
Indeed.
I don't know.
What do you give me for your freedom? That's very precious to you, I sense. I would treat you very well if you stayed here as my pet. You would have all the food you wish. And do you like ambrosia? And she holds the goblet towards you, and the sweet, pungent smell of like the best made ice cream
Let me
milkshake.
let me make a check for her, actually, because that would be something that would probably be a wisdom to see if she can kind of resist.
A wisdom save?
Would it be a wisdom save? I guess so, yeah.
If
So yeah, I think she would be tempted and would lean towards it, but then I kind of chitter away again and say,
it's completely your choice. You made the save.
and you said, she says, you want to know my price for freedom? I really don't know what I can give for freedom. What do you give for your freedom?
She chuckles. Believe me, I know how much somebody is worth. I have sold enough slaves to know that. You to me, on the slave market, would be worth probably over 200 gold pieces, and perhaps in the novelty section, I could charge double that if I, shall we say, dressed you up for the part. But I don't wish this.
If you have so much, you say gold, why don't you buy Scarface?
She gives out another laugh. She looks off, and I don't know if anything can buy that one. And she talks in this weird, feared voice. Like you sense fear in her, which was odd, but then she turns back. But you are a strange one. Freedom does come at a price. Name a price that you can give.
I can give you this metal thing I found. And she like pulls up the dagger.
The dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes. I saw this already. There's something else you have that I found fascinating.
Well, there is one thing that has helped me chase the maiden away. I call it the Maiden Sphere. It is a very formidable sword.
Ah?
And she kind of pulls out this club, like this staff, this wooden stick, rather, that she found, and presents it to her. This is very dangerous, though. You need to be careful.
I have no use for sticks, fool. I meant this. And she holds open her hand, and it's the spider brooch. Where you found this?
Oh. I have found it in the walkways, in the caverns where I lived with my friends.
And she looks puzzled again. But then the doors open. And she turns quickly and puts the brooch, stashes it away quickly. And she also grabs a sheet and flings it over the cage. Stay silent, she mutters real quickly. And Ilvera comes into the room with Shur, the consort.
Mm-hmm.
And Ilvera is like, so Asha, do you have the evening mass prepared? I will be there to give the benediction to the Queen Mother. And Asha's, of course, Matron Mother. Everything is in order. Something is different here, is it not? What do you mean, Matron Mother? I'm busy. Make sure things are perfect. I sense strange things in the Underdark. My auguries last night were interrupted by the visions I told you about. And watch out for Fevres. There have been waves of it moving through the Underdark. Yes, Matron Mother, of course. And Ilvera spins around on her heel with her snake whip curling around her waist and exits the room. And Asha, you can see she was sort of like holding her breath a bit, and then you can see a look of this kind of anger comes over her and hatred. She turns back. She says to the cage that's covered, you better come up with something useful or make your commitment. I will ask soon. Either be my pet or give me something I can use.
Well,
the door,
what is this?
You hear the door open and close. Wham, slam. Like, oh, pardon me, actually, I'll give you a moment.
And she will just ask, well, these visions that she's having, I think I'm seeing them too. It's not quite pleasant. And I can tell you it's got nothing to do with freedom.
Okay, the door closes and the footsteps come back to the cage. And the drape pulled to the side a little bit, and you see her face there. Her actually very beautiful face for a drow. Even in a cruel sneer, it has a beauty, surprisingly. But she's, what do you know of my dreams?
Well, I can tell you more if you let me out of this cage.
And she takes the drape off, and she goes to the cage, and she has a little golden key around a bracelet on her wrist. She puts it in and unlocks the cage and opens it up. There.
How?
You are free, she laughs.
Much better, but I think I'm just only as free as you are. And then she kind of goes out there on her force, and as she's going out there, like her hair grows a little bit more on her arms as she like kind of scurries in a very awkward way on the ground. And then she looks up to her, not blinking with one single eye, and says, those dreams, they are worse than everything you've dreamt of. They are what you want to wake up from but never can. They're the things you need to run away from, but you're choked and you stand still and you will never be able to get away. That's what they are. And I'm seeing them too.
Okay,
I've only seen them here.
This is too much for her. She stumbles back a couple paces and her mouth open and closes a couple times. And then she mutters out, "Guard! Guards!" And you see she's shaking though and looking at you with wide eyes. What are you? I'm sending you back to the pens. And the two drow guards come in.
And in that moment, like I would like that to happen before the guards come in, if that is possible in that environment. She will actually transform into an actual spider. Like a little spider. The tiny creature and scurry away.
Now this may require a roll. Now you're trying this. This is a major transformation.
It's her very first wild shape.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you have inspiration?
Yeah.
Do you mind? Like, it's a big moment. So what in your mind you're like, no, and just you form into a spider. You just think this is natural to me.
Yeah, she basically she was freed as a spider, and like her hair started already growing on her arm, and she started basically recovering, or especially in this presence of the statue here, all those spiders around. I mean, there's no bigger influence than that. So
nice.
In that moment, she is being threatened again by being locked up or by being sold or whatever, and she just got freed, so she wants to flee. Last time she did that as a human, that did not work, and she kind of is already in her role as a spider, and in that moment of adrenaline, I figure it would just
I like it. Why don't we do a survival roll at advantage? And I'll just say, like, the inspiration, it just seems like you're put under trauma and react. All right, I was going to say the number you're going for was 12 in my mind, and the 14 is adequate. And what now? Do you stay with the coloring you had? And I remember it was sort of orange, kind of orange white, or
she was more like whitish, white brownish.
Yeah.
And I figure she would basically probably get like a color that is sort of like Tom's. You said orangish, and like they're never like some are, but not like neon orange, but like orange like a tarantula is, sort of, kind of, has like those orange spottings.
So Pretty Face prostrates herself quickly, like bows to you. Oh, you are blessed. You are blessed, she starts muttering. And the guards come to the door, but she says, leave us. And they close the door, leaving. And she turns back. You're blessed. You are free to go.
And I think, yeah. And
she can't harm a spider.
Mm-hmm. In wild shape, she keeps also her mental stats. She gains the stats of the physical stats of the spider.
Oh, wow.
And I would like to make an inside roll on that, what she just said, but that sounded good. So
no, but you sense that she's looking at you in awe and you sense of reverence, perhaps even. But she's just kind of, and she gets up and she steps back away from you, and she goes, "You are free, of course, maiden."
And with that, she will just look at her and kind of can't do anything, but she'll probably like raise her legs, but just because she's lack of communication, she doesn't know what to do really. She's never been a spider before, so she'll like put up her arms, like the front arms, and then put them down again and turn and scurry off.
Yeah, you'd have to. You're not sure if you can open the door. You probably can get out the hatch.
Yeah, because she's a tiny creature, and I think they can fit through like underneath.
Oh, like how small are you?
Oh, I'm a tiny spider. I'm a house spider.
That small?
I'm a very tiny spider.
Well, let's make you like that big or so.
Okay.
Like you're a good palm. So you have to be very careful because you're quite vulnerable at that size and stuff.
Because the actual spider is a tiny beast, and I think there is also medium-sized spiders, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It can be No, not tiny. There's small-sized spiders too, so we can say she's small, not
Yeah,
medium-sized.
You'd be like a little chihuahua.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't fit underneath the door anymore. Yeah, but that's fine. So she will try to get out of the room through the hatch, possibly.
Yeah, and you fandangle your way out the hatch. It's quite simple, and you're free.
And she feels a little bit overwhelmed still, like she had the vision, but gets all other senses now with this form. Like gets a whole new 4D experience of being a spider with actually having the 8 limbs, not only like 4 in total. So she has trouble adjusting while walking first.
Now, where do you want to go when you head out, by the way?
I would like to locate where I'm at, first of all.
Yeah, you quickly, hold on, we're not. You're on the web platform outside the temple column. To the northeast is the guard column. That's outside the pens. The pens are over here. Oh, hold on, I got a phone call. I'll just put it to message. So you can sense where things are. You have an idea that, okay, the pen's over there, the guard tower's over there, the water's down below, and so on.
So she would try to get back to the pen.
Okay, so we'll now go to the other group in a moment. I'm going to take a short bio, and we'll assume, unless something happens, that was weird how that played out. I had no idea you were going to do that and stuff.
She didn't either.
Well, she was going to call the guards.
Escape artist.
Yeah, and they can't harm spiders. It was anyway. Back to the main pen. I'll be right back.
Bro. Twas dope. Escaped from prison twice now. What the fuck?
She's done better than all of us.
2 times better than all of us. Jesus. Wait, Ingrid, you are a fighter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, just check. Forgot. I was like, can you spells? Can you do the spell?
No, I do big smash.
You do punch.
I do big 2-handed fuck off weapons.
Cool. Okay. I just need to know where like, my idea was like, open the gates, have everyone who's not with us just fuck off and do whatever. Hopefully that causes enough of a distraction for us to grab our shit and go.
I was gonna try to convince the sketchy one to go grab our shit, but dude already reneged on a deal, so I very much don't want to do that.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all.
Hey, everybody remembers a bad kiss, all right?
I don't trust Jim Jar one bit. Sushar's cute. But Jim Jar, not a chance.
Yeah, he's not right in the head anyway.
No.
Neither is Bupido or Cereth or Ront or Jim Jar or Topsy and Derby.
Anyone who has mental issues, just know.
Pretty sure that's all of us. Every
That's
single
90%
one
of us.
We have issues.
Everyone's a little fucked up.
So we're gonna end. I was like, darn! I almost had Miri brought back into the cells. but looks like she's on her way anyway. So actually, Miri, we can assume that you crept up underneath the cells, and just to kind of roll this forward, you do see the door, you see some Quaggoth there, and you're just waiting. I'm assuming you want to sneak in?
Yeah. I would most likely have done it also from the window that I previously crept in on.
Right. You're pretty small, yeah, so you could fit through the bars.
Yeah. And from the bars, I can use my mental connection.
Okay, make a stealth check, and you're aiming for a 10.
Yeah, and I get...
Just to get...
Okay, so I get a +4. Oh, that didn't work. Not really stealthy, the spider is.
Nope.
Now, the Quaggoth sees you go through the door.
That's okay, I'm a spider.
Yeah, I just thought it. I'm like, well, what's he going to do about it? I'm like, he'll probably shrug and go, holy, geez, that was a big spider. I'm just, yeah, he doesn't really do much. He doesn't know you or anything. There's spiders all over the friggin' place here. All right, forget I even made your roll. So he did see you, though. So I don't know, there could be consequence. Who knows? You were seen.
I didn't trust that one particular spider.
Yeah.
In this whole spider den, I didn't trust this one orange one.
Fuck that orange. Orange is my least favorite color.
So when you creep into the pen, it's dimly lit by these crystals and lichens and so on, and you recognize and so on and whoever you want. And Bupido is there, but he's not paying attention. He's staring at the wall. He's chanting in some weird language. And you see a group huddled over against the wall discussing things. So
I would approach Sushar, like sort of kind of, not too close.
Roundabout way. All right, now you're going to have to make another stealth roll here to see if you're noticed by the occupants, to see if they can see you and if they do anything. Because that's your big scary spider. Habu's like, oh my god, kill it. Yeah. Actually, he's
that's a 20. Modified. I get a +4.
So you go on the ceiling or something, and I guess I'm getting a little clever with this, but you can let yourself down, of course, with spider line.
I basically do the same thing. Like I do. I'm like upside down.
So you come down. Now, that's a good call because he's a pacifist and vows not to harm anything, even a fly or a spider. So he won't react and go, kill it.
Yep.
As I make a roll for that, I'd say, hey, like spiders, like, oh, it's attacking you, kill it. So the spider comes down, and Sushar, you can't tell if he sees you because he's got these weird fish eyes. What do you do? He appears not to notice you.
When I'm within 10 feet of him, I establish the mental link, and I shoot some thoughts to him, and I say, "Hey, Sushar, it's me. I'm Mary, and don't worry, I'm right above you, and I think I'm a spider. Am I a spider?"
And it's these eyes are pivoting around, of course, and then one kind of, oh, indeed, child.
Let me wave with one hand. Is this me? Do you see me?
And he waves up. And then you hear in the background, who is it? Who is it? It's the other again, isn't it? The other, the strange one. Yes, Stool, it is. She is okay. She's taken another form. So, dear, you come back to the cell. Why don't you not flee? Are you not free?
I think I am free. I have gained my freedom by... I am not sure. It's a long story, but the pretty face human with the ears, she let me out of this little prison that I was in. It was a gold prison. There was a huge spider too.
The Drow revere the spider. I can see this, yes. She probably thought you were a blessing from her goddess.
Oh, she said I was blessed. I wasn't quite sure what that meant. You said I should come back, yes, after the shift?
Yes.
And I am here. Is it after the shift?
Yes. Your timing is excellent. It fills me with joy to hear your voice again in my head.
I know, you don't need to say it out loud. Are you talking out loud now? I can't tell.
Oh, I can. And actually, let's give a quick roll between Ingrid,
Would
Puck,
we hear him
and
freak
Galen.
out?
Well, sort of. Yes and no. Because he's not stupid, but he's not smart. But you guys can make a 15 perception roll. I guess we'll go with that.
Nope.
Because he does act strange, everybody acts strange. Oh my God, Cat.
Not meant to be.
Oh, you were like
Yeah,
just.
you guys have no idea
Tongue
what's
flies in
going
my
on.
ear at a natural one.
Plan.
Ow, get it out of my ear.
However, you do look over with one of your 8 eyes and you see Cereth's eyes open. Boink.
That was the Drow guy.
Yeah,
right?
and his voice comes in to the telepathic bond.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, another old man. Our old fish? Are you sure? He kind of grumbles, and the fish guy's like, "Peace, Cereth. You must meditate more."
I'm
And-
so confused. Is this a conference?
Well, you can tell there's a link now. Yeah, okay. We got to clarify how this works because there is a
No,
link.
she's really confused.
Okay.
Like she's
There-
confused.
There
What's going
appears to
on?
be a previous link you've tapped into. You realize
Sareth joined the chat.
you're joining a chat. You realize now you might get better at this, where you can individualize and so on. You sense with some
Right.
practice you could probably isolate and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for the moment, you're just in on their conversation, and oops, and then you blink out, and you can blink it out, and you mute it, and you're like, oh. Then you listen in again, and he's linked to those two. This Sushar, and when you disconnect, you're disconnected from all three of them.
So, Shusha, have you been talking like this the whole time?
No, not long now. I was trying to see about the young stool there, and their kind communicates in this manner. I have blocked them out for now. It is just you and I hope. I sense that it is coming from your end, though. It is amazing. Are you doing this?
I think so. I'm just imagining that you would hear me, and you can apparently. So that's really cool.
Wow. And now
I know.
you are willing to help us? The others are talking of a plan to get out. Your help would be great.
Do you mind holding up your hand so I can sit down? Sort of. The wind is kind of treating me not nicely here, hanging in the middle of the room.
Of course, child. Come here on my shoulder. I will lift up my cowl so others will not see you blatantly. I think that might be wiser. Some here fear and suspect the spider kind as pets and agents of the Dark Ones.
Oh, okay. Well, tell them I don't mean any harm. Quite the opposite. I mean people to be not harmed. That's what I mean. Like kind of sits on
I
his
will warn you,
shoulder.
though, before I tell the others. I will warn you, though. Cereth is a troubled soul, but he has great uses, and I wish to try to help him in some manner, for he is sick. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with him, but he is sick.
Do we need a medicine?
And he is the one who brought stool. He came with stool.
I don't understand. That is an expression that sounds really odd. He came with stool?
The little one, the mushroom one.
Oh, they came together?
They were brought together. And they have a past.
Don't all of us?
Indeed. And he turns to the others and sidles up to Puck and Ingrid and Galen. And you guys can notice there's a new little spider on his shoulder. Now, how long does that shape last, or does it?
It lasts for
Just
1
little-
hour.
Just outside. Okay. So you guys, whoop, whoop, you see a spider on Sushar's shoulder. And he seems to have a little nook in his cowl for it. And he comes forward and he goes, hello, conspirators. Greetings. I have been listening, but a old friend has returned. For it is Miri. Trust me. And he gestures to the little spider.
Ingrid kind of leans over to Puck and goes, are you sure we trust him? I think he may have gone mad.
He laughs. Yes, my people are often blamed for going mad. There is a madness that goes through us. It is for our history that we spent with the mind flayers when they enslaved us for centuries. But
This does not help your case.
but he goes, I have transcended that. And you can see he's calm. And he gives you one of his eyes. Ooh. And I'll let you guys go.
And Puck, you will hear she looks at Puck and she's like, hello, 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 hello.
Who are
Hey,
you?
right
What?
here, right
What is
here.
this?
Here, almost. You got me. Oh, this is like a game. I like it.
What the hell is going on?
Here. He just told you.
Wait,
Can you
whoa.
understand me?
Okay.
You can. You can't understand me. You can't understand
This-
me. You can't
no,
understand what I say.
I can't. Oh, wow. I've never experienced telepathic links before. Wow, this is oh, I gotta write this. I don't have my notes. I will write it down later. Okay. You're not dead.
I am blessed.
Cool. Are you just a spider now?
I don't know.
Okay. Can I turn to the group and just say, like, call me crazy.
Okay, you are crazy.
Crazy.
Thank you.
Why? That doesn't make
That
sense.
That's
That's weird.
Fishy's right.
His name is Sushar.
Sushar's right.
Well, I suppose, considering what she looked like last we saw her, maybe she has been slowly transforming into a spider.
What,
Is she stuck like this?
what did she look like before?
She was not her usual self, but she had a lot of eyes. She had fur. It was gross. Sorry.
Wow,
no
you're
offense.
gross.
It was
Sorry.
unique. Is she stuck? Was she cursed? Can we help her?
How about we talk about getting out of here? Because we need freedom. And you don't have freedom.
I agree.
With what?
Well,
with what was
she says that we should talk about getting out first.
Okay, well, yes, that seems like a good idea.
Great.
Without killing anybody, because Sushar isn't like that.
Well, what are we?
Now that we have you, we probably don't have to. So, now we have someone that can get on the outside, and someone that can look around undetected.
I came from the outside.
That's what I'm saying. I'm implying the spider. We could have Miri look for our stuff.
Yes, I agree. If little Miri could go look around and find our things, that would be most
do I know
beneficial.
do I know where the stuff is being kept? Like where the prisoner equipment is? Simply from my time
No.
being around.
No, you don't. You never saw it. You haven't been inside any of the other columns, and there's multiple levels to them as well. In some of them, that you haven't been in.
And even if you could find like a quick way for us to get there, like with little normal people feet and not go on ceilings and things, ways to get to our things, we will require them.
Well, why don't you just try to think you're a spider? It worked for me.
I
Think really hard.
I don't think it works like that.
Have you tried it?
No, but the mind is a powerful thing, but not that powerful. I think you might have stumbled upon something crazy, frankly.
I know some magic, but you see him like concentrate really hard for a second. There has been strange things happening. No, sorry, dear. I think not. I think you're special.
Well, regardless, none of our magic works in this cell.
Well, how about this, Miri? If you go and look for our things, we will stay here and try to become spiders. I make no promises whether we can become spiders, but we shall try.
Oh, I will so freaking try. Oh my god.
That is a good idea because, if you just believe hard enough in it, then things will eventually come true. Unless it's bad things, then they may come true too, and you have to really make sure that they go away. Otherwise, they will chase and hurt you, and you don't want that.
Well, and that is why I would like my things back. I would like to be able to protect myself and others. And I'm
You
gonna
didn't
kind
hear
of
that.
gesture to everybody else.
That was
Oh, I didn't hear that. Whoopsie doo.
No,
Oh, that was just me.
that's only you.
Perfect. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll think happy thoughts. All right. How about Miri, you go scouting out for our stuff. You don't know what our stuff looks like. Okay, well, I have my book bag.
I don't know what my stuff looks like. I don't think I had any stuff.
My book bag looks like my sweater. It's got all these like patchwork. It's like a bunch of patches of different colored fabrics and stuff like that. Looks like my sweater. It looks like this. It's pretty small. If you can grab that, that'd be great.
How am I supposed to grab it? Do you see these?
Okay, well, maybe just look for it. And then bring it back.
Okay.
Or tell us where.
Okay.
And then I guess meet back tonight. And I look to the group. Meet back tonight.
I really don't know when night and day is here. I just come by whenever I'm done.
Well, then meet back when everyone is asleep.
I'll come check.
Okay. Oh God.
And she'll like kind of crawl down on Sushar's shoulder, and she's like, "Sorry, apologize. I'm sorry." Like going over. Excuse me. Going over him, sailing down, and then she'll kind of turn around like one last time, look at the group, and see like if anybody still wants to say anything out loud because she can hear that. Or if they want to keep that a secret for others, or I don't know.
Okay.
Because everybody has heard you guys replying to each other now.
Well, we're kind of stuck. We're behind Habu.
Now,
Bunkered down.
Everybody's surprised by a sudden shout from Cereth. He screams out. Anyone understand Drow? I think that's only a couple of you did. But he shouts something out in the Drow tongue. And those who can hear it can hear, she's come for us all. She'll take us all. And he jumps up and he runs. And it seems to be he's either running at Galen or Sushar. And he's screaming, she'll kill us all. She'll take us all. And his eyes are wide in madness or fear, rage. You see he kicked stool. He got, and stool is wiped out. You see there's, I guess, stool blood and stuff around.
Oh, green goop.
That didn't come out right. But anyway, Cereth is running and appears attacking randomly somebody. So we're going to roll initiative quickly.
Are there going to be no guards?
At the moment, well, probably. What they do is they've seen fights before. They usually watch, but
they don't want the slaves to kill each other, though.
No.
Do I roll initiative too?
You were just leaving. You're at the door, and for the moment, you may as well. You can still act. You're still here.
Guys, I'm still here. Those were my 5 minutes with the group for today.
Woohoo!
We'll get you back in the party.
That's okay. That's okay.
You escaped single-handedly. I fully trusted you.
For like a party split, it's worked out super well, especially since it's not like we're going anywhere quite yet. Hopefully soon.
Miri happens to act first. Now, everyone's caught off guard, and he doesn't really surprise you though, because he's shouting and shit, right? You're surprised that he's shouting and running at you, but you're not caught flat-footed. So Miri, you're up first, and you're just at the door, or making your way there, and Pupito is even startled up, and he stands up and looks over at what's going on. And Elbest too. What do you want to do?
And how far is Sushar from me?
Quite a ways at this time, about 45 feet.
Oh, there's nowhere I can make that in time. I would look at all the others and then look at him. And I would like to, as my action or bonus action, I would like to gauge Sushar's reaction. Like, is he like kind of sort of prepared, knowing that he had these issues? Is he like kind of going defensive, or does he just let it happen?
He spins around, and it looks like he's gonna run, but might not be anywhere to run, and it seems he's a bit surprised. It's hard to tell with his fish eyes and stuff, but you're getting to know Sushar actually pretty good, and you can tell he's not a fool. He's not gonna stand there like a sheep, but he's not. He'll defend himself, but not offensively.
Yeah. So with that, I think Miri is like kind of looking at it, and if this were a war, and she like immediately imagines like a war zone and people like being armored with gear and all that, and the person Cereth like with a spear charging forward, like she immediately sees this battle scene happening in front of her, and imagines the other people kind of rallying up around Sushar, being like this solemn monk in the middle, building like this circle of block or defense, and she has like this really nice scene in her head, and she's like, yeah, they don't need me here, and turns around and scurries away to do what she does. So that's what she's seeing.
The D&D equivalent of
Cat.
Deuces.
You're very perceptive, and I've actually I had to look that up. But apparently you surmise by that, Cat, I'll let you know that stuff coming inside this room, it doesn't nullify it. It's just you can't cast a spell or in the room.
Awesome. Thanks.
Good call. And I'll give you 25 XP.
Whoop.
And Miri, you're going to get 25 XP for your role playing there and such and so forth.
Nice.
Successfully in escaping your little personal escape from Asha. And Asha, you sense that Asha is like accepted you as a maiden. Kinda. Another maiden.
Look at me. I am the maiden now.
But we're going to Ingrid. And you spin around and your battle instincts kick in and so on.
Okay. Ingrid kind of immediately is up to her feet. She takes a couple of steps kind of in front and will immediately attempt to grapple and restrain him.
Okay, I think that works with a strength check, but I could
Strength
use...
and versus opposing athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah, okay, that would work. So you could pick, in your case, athletics or acrobatics, and we'll make our little rolls.
Not very good. Jeez.
You're going to miss. He dodges you. You just miss him.
Well, I'm just going to stand where I'm standing.
And you can see he looks at you in rage. Oh, no, you miss him. Like, you go to the side, and he sidesteps you. And it's his turn. Now, he might turn on you. I'm going to roll here a minute to see if he goes to Sushar or you. Or Galen, for that matter. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Sushar. And he just goes at Sushar with this kind of martial strike. Just with this fist. You, in my mind, she doesn't want you there. Well, actually, none of you could understand that.
I can.
And, at the moment, there's some stuff he's saying might be important. But you see that Sushar his head just goes to the side, and he just dodges him. And it just looks like almost comical. It's like this Yoda moment. He's like, you cannot grab the grasshopper from my hand. Oh. And he whiffs. Galen, your turn.
First, for my obviously super taken aback, first I'll turn to Puck, and with my bonus action, I'll say to him, we have to do something, because Puck's turn is next. And my voice is filled with a passionate plea. You must do something to help him. And I give you a bardic inspiration, so you've got a d6.
You can't cast spells in here.
It's not a spell.
Sorry. Bardic inspiration.
I just feel emboldened.
I thought it was a spell, but it's not. It's just my class ability.
So how do you do that? You said you talk, but do you sing, or do you have an instrument or something?
I can do it either way. And since I don't have my instrument, I just gave him a very passionate plea.
Went into pure Shakespearean drama moment.
You have to help him. I give him that, and then
Thanks.
Regardless of my -1 strength, because I'm Galen, I guess I'll try and... Actually, no, I'll try to get behind him and trip him, basically, because he's just, like, running headlong at him. So I'm going to go behind him.
Well, he's already engaged Sushar, so they're now in combat.
Go behind him and try to sweep his legs out at any rate, because that's the only thing I can think to do. And if nothing else, we now have him flanked, so he...
That's like an acrobatics roll.
Sure.
Against his.
That's great for me. 23.
Oh, wow. He got it with his bonus. He's 21.
Nice.
But not good enough. And he is prone. You leg sweep him.
And then I will use my movement to step back a little bit. Behind Ingrid. Then I yell, he's talking nonsense, subdue him. Lost it.
Puck's going to wrap up the round. Actually, I forgot to roll for Sushar. Go ahead, Puck. Sushar will act last and involuntarily. Just give him a token 1.
Puck's just gonna be like, I can do nothing, I'm small. Like, and then finally sees him on the ground. I'm like, okay, you like punching people? You can't hit what you can't see. And I'm just gonna kick some dirt in his eyes. Not kick him, but just like try and blind him.
Well, he is prone.
Little dirt in the eyes by Puck.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
dirty.
with like a pocket full of sand.
Let's do a
Constantly.
sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, Puck, and we're aiming for a 15.
Cool. Oh yeah.
So you spray his face with sand, and he is at disadvantage next round because he's got kicked sand in his face.
I played dirty. Oh, I pucked him up. Oh, that's my catchphrase, guys.
Uh-oh. He's got like teary eyes.
Cool.
Sushar, you see, just dodged, and he's like, I feared that something. He is sick. And
What is wrong with him?
I know not yet. There's something to do with stool. I sense. I do. His mind is troubled. And then he stops talking because you see Cereth is getting up, and he's not giving up, and he's not shouting so much anymore. He's kind of going, tentacles reaching, she'll be here. And Drow, sorry, Muri, you're left, and you're heading to the guard tower to check it out first place, or do you want to check somewhere else first? Or do you have something else you want to do?
No, I would probably be where the guards are at and kind of look at all the, like, listen maybe, or see if they bring a new prisoner in, then he must have some stuff, and the stuff needs to go somewhere, and that's where she would follow.
All right, so just real quick before I head back, that guard column, is got 2 floors to it. The bottom floor is where the guards hang out, like it's like a barracks area where they lounge. Like you snuck up and you went in one of the little windows. And the windows have these little iron grills on them, but there's big enough spaces like this big that you squeeze through with your abdomen, pops through barely, like, oh dear, gotta lose a bit of weight. Do you want to go into the bottom floor or the top floor? The barracks or the top floor is unknown. You think the bottom one's like a barracks. That's where the dark ones hang out, the guards.
I guess where they hang out is not necessarily where all the stuff is, but more the things are. But I don't know for sure. So I'll check out what's unknown first, because that's also what I'm most curious about.
All right. So I'll get you to make a stealth check for me, and then I'll head back to the other group. And if you succeed, you'll be in the room, and we'll get back to you next.
Nat 20, mother pucker.
So this new form. Now I got the timer going here. You have about you're about halfway through your little. You sense that you're not in the right shape. You sense that this isn't your natural form, and that this might be a temporary thing in your mind. Okay, and you sense that you want to go back, and you should go back soon.
Okay.
All right.
But my curiosity drives me forth.
And you said you're going to do stuff, and for the moment it's convenient. You realize you could still in your other. Well, anyway, you do make it there. We'll leave you for the moment. Ingrid, your go.
Ingrid will take another step towards Cereth and kind of try to keep him, gonna try to pin him back to the ground, essentially.
Oh, grapple him.
Yeah.
Pin him down. Go for it. Make a acrobatics or athletics roll against his, I suppose. We'll do that.
That's much better.
He's +2. Well, he's rolling hot too, but boy, that's better. You got a 21 and you got a 25. So you get on him and you hold him down. You realize he has something in his hand. He pulled out somewhere, and it's like a shank. And he's going to try hit you. He's at disadvantage because you're holding him.
Yeah.
But you just saw it last second. You go to block it, and he goes to hit you with it, but he's disadvantage because you're holding him, but he's still flailing. You haven't quite secured him. and he's unable to. You're like, you're a warrior. You're just right away. You're pinning him. What's your strength?
My strength?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an 18.
Okay.
I'd just be making a GM call, but as long as he's prone, he has disadvantage on anything he does.
He's
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got pucked up.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And he's so, you see, the madness is giving him strength and desperation. And he misses him. He's flailing around with the shank. And Galen, your go.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted there for a moment. Okay, Galen is going to basically do the same thing. I'll cry out again and give Ingrid a bardic inspiration this time, since she's our muscle, trying to get him subdued. And then so does she still have, she has like, she's pinning one of his arms basically at this point?
And
She has
she's
him half grappled?
Yeah, she sent another round. She probably could have him bundled up, pinned. She's stronger than him.
Okay, but she is holding him still for now?
No.
Shh. Like,
Okay, that's
not-
what I wasn't sure of.
he's thrashing, but
He won't be
Okay,
able to get
then-
up. He's prone.
Then I will, call out to Ingrid and say, hold him, and give her a bardic inspiration. And then
You must hold him.
do it. And then why not? I will try to help her grapple him with my -1 strength. But while I'm close to him, I'm basically going to try and get him eye to eye in any way possible. Like the same way I had that moment with him where I snapped him out of it before. I'm trying to catch him eye to eye and saying, calm down, over and over. And that's what I'll give a go.
Okay, so I could do a persuasion roll or a performance.
Oh, me.
Yeah, he managed to kick you in the shin, the flailing foot.
How about that grapple?
What'd you get?
Do you roll athletics or acrobatics, or is it only athletics for a grapple?
No, you can't choose. So you have, like, as grappler, you have to use strength, but
Yeah, that's
as
what I thought.
the grapplee,
Oh,
you can select, and you did not choose wisely.
this is appropriate. He had no business being in there. But
And you do get kicked in the shin pretty hard. You take a hit point damage,
Oh.
like crack. It didn't work. Puck, you're like, big people are flailing around. You're just
Can I try and make sense what is happening? Is this some kind of like magical thing that's taken over his brain or something like that?
But give me an insight, and then give me a perception, because you're kind of a bit on the outside. You're not in the fracas, so to speak.
with bardic inspiration, you can choose after you roll your d20 to add it on if you ever want to.
I would like to do that. What's the dice?
It's just a d6.
D6.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
it came from me.
Everything's too much, and you're trying to connect what he said and things, and there's something there. Like you were close, actually. Well, no, actually you weren't. It was a 15 check.
Don't pity me.
Yeah, you're 3 away. So you didn't see it. You don't know. Now perception roll.
Oh, perception?
Yeah.
Curse my 10 wisdom.
Okay.
God damn it.
And Sushar, I'm going to give him perception roll. Okay, he's just back and concerned, and his attention is just on the fracas, and he's trying to decide what to do. not being offensive. He's just like I can't do anything. Be gentle on him. Because you see Ront coming up behind Ingrid and Cereth with murderous look in his eye. Miri,
I'm here.
you are creep into this large room that's pretty dark. There's no little crystal lanterns or anything around, and so but your vision is okay. Dark vision, right? Or no? You have dark vision?
I think spiders do have actually.
I don't know.
They do have 30
Spiders?
feet. Yeah, 30 feet
Oh.
dark vision.
So you creep into this room that is, pardon me. Let me get my...
And web sense. If there's any webs whatsoever, while in contact with a web, the spider knows exactly the location of any other creature in contact with the same web.
Now in here, the spiders don't seem to come. There's no webs.
That's fine.
The tower's upper chamber. You see there's racks of armor and weapons. There's cabinets that must hold equipment and so on. There's lots of stuff.
Does it look like anything that, like, basically, is there any function that looks like that will work in the same way like her cage did, like with the key to open, like basically a lock, but she tries to combine how that would be, like if that's locked or how that opens?
Yeah, it has the same little keyhole, let's call it, in the cabinets. But you see a lot of the weapon racks are quite open in that if you can get in the room, which is from a trapdoor in the floor, it appears as access. A lot of the stuff is you can just grab. There's suits of leather armor, chain armor, shields.
I would look around for what Puck described to her, like his gear.
Right. No, you don't see it. But the cabinets, you sense that there might be something in there.
The ones that are closed?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere, like, very conveniently so, a ring of keys on a door, like a thing right next to the door?
All right, we'll get back to you.
Very conveniently so?
We'll get back to you. You spend the round looking around and stuff in this chamber. And I'll get you to make another stealth check just because there are others and maidens and stuff like that too. I kind of forgot. Moving on to Ingrid.
Thought there were no spiders.
Not in here. No, not in here. No.
For my other one, I had a nat 20 stealth check.
Man. Seems you have free reign of the place for the moment.
I had a nat 20.
Ingrid.
Gonna try to finish pinning Cereth.
Yeah, go for it. Now you're at advantage.
Okay.
Because you do kind of have him half pinned, and unless I'm not going to jinx it, but he pretty well has to make a nat 20, and you have him pinned, and both his arms, and he's subdued. It was pretty impressive, though. He's not very big. Drow aren't very big. He's put up quite a little fight. But the door does open, or is opening, and that's the perception roll you missed, as the Quaggoth come in bringing food. And one's like, "Oi, break it up right now, we'll start smashing heads." And they enter the cell. There's two come in, two are on the outside. Plus you notice that Baramil, who is a Drow guard, is outside there observing as well. And Ilvara is there. Oh, look. Oh, I guess she's speaking Drow. She says something derisive.
I understand, Drow.
Oh, They fight, do they? The rats in a cage? Typical. I'll find one if they resist you. We'll deal with it quickly. Can't have this. And the Quaggoth come in. Everybody move to the walls. Spread out now. Move.
Okay. Ingrid will wait until Sushar kind of gets closer towards the walls, and then we'll let go of Cereth and make sure that she's gonna try to swing Cereth so that he's facing towards these guys over here, and then she's gonna start walking towards the walls.
Are you restraining Cereth?
No, I'm going to let go because that was the instruction. But I'm going to wait until everybody else is kind of up against the walls.
Okay, so I'm going to roll for Cereth a minute. Okay, Cereth, you seem to have, for the moment, he complies. And he just stumbles backward in a sort of mumbling to himself. Puck, I'm going to assume, are you going to move?
He's AFK. His family needs him for a second.
Gotcha. So this is what you usually do at dinner time. They make you go to spots on the walls, and then they bring around these bowls made from this fungus wood, full of this stinky broth. And it doesn't take them long. They come around, but you see Ilvara. She comes inside. And you can just sense the menace in her. Most of the prisoners shy away from the baleful look in her red eyes. She's accompanied by Bemeril, one of the guards. And she's got like a ledger in her hands, and she looks annoyed, very annoyed. And she's ticking off things on the ledger and muttering to Bemeril in their tongue and pointing. Yeah, and he nods stuff or shakes his head and points at someone else, and then she's writing stuff down.
What are they saying?
They're taking apparently a toll and names, a roll call, and she's taking note. She seems pissed off. Well, she always is. And she just looks around. Does anybody meet her eye? When she scans around the room, looking at every prisoner as she's taking note. Does anybody keep their head up? Look at her.
No.
Ingrid?
Not a good idea.
So Ingrid, you feel a deep shame in that you're being pushed too hard. And it's just not in your blood to bow your head. And your blood has gone up when you're fighting here, and it's still flowing. Your heart's pounding from this scrap with Cereth. I'm going to get you to make a roll for me.
Good.
And I'm looking at other people's backgrounds and such like that, and it's all cool. Give me 1 second. Intimidation roll. And you're aiming for a 12.
Just a normal intimidation roll?
Yeah.
21.
You wanted to look her in the eye so badly. And I'll let you decide. If you still want to, you can, but you have the choice to not to, and you said you didn't, so I'm assuming no. However, the shame is so great that you're at disadvantage for the next hour.
Okay.
Now, not on everything. It's not blanket. I'll have to decide. Okay. But everybody can see that Ingrid's face just goes this purple red, and she's breathing heavily, and her fists are clenched.
If you want to make it easy, you can give her basically the rules of level of exhaustion, which will automatically give her disadvantage on all ability checks.
like I said, some things, yeah, it's like that. And like I said, I'm gonna play it kind of ad hoc in that there's some things that you'll still be able to do. But no, good call. And she looks, and for a moment her eyes linger on Ingrid as she almost senses that, perhaps we have one who's defiant. She mutters to her companion, you hear, Galen. Then she speaks in common. So, prisoners, soon you will be brought to the glory and put to work for the glory of the Drow and the great mistress, the Queen Mother. You should be proud. And she looks around once more. What is wrong with this one? And he points at Cereth. You, traitor, murderer. And Cereth's head kind of jerks up a bit. Yes, you. Ah, I know your family. I know them well. You're all alike. You'll end up in this place, I'm sure. And Cereth is, you can see he's starting to tremble and mutter a bit, and she's a bit puzzled and steps back a couple paces. Enough of this. I tire. And she turns and strides out to other duties. And there's a bit of a collective sigh, in a way, goes through the room when that nasty character leaves. And back to you guys as the food is, and the Quaggoth leave as well, and to let you guys munch out. And I'll let you guys roleplay for a little bit again, as things seem they let you, do what you wish. Remember, you're always shackled. You always have chains going from your neck to your hands to your waist, and your legs are sometimes hobbled, and your necks are tied together when they move you.
Cereth seems normal now.
No, he's upset. You're not sure.
I'm gonna turn to Sushar, and I'm just gonna say, is that really worth saving?
I don't know. He's obsessed with the little one, and he gestures to the Myconid. There's something there.
Why aren't they like just as recluse as the deep gnomes?
The Myconids, yes, they are keep to themselves. They are a species, but they are very neutral in their outlook and accepting of others, generally. This one, I know not its story. I think it is lost and was captured like all of us, and probably wishes to return back to its hive, its collective.
Then why would it get so pissed off at him?
Oh, you mean I'm talking about stool there a minute, right?
No, I mean I'm talking. Why would Cereth get so pissed off at a neutral party?
You're not sure what was going on with Cereth. And Sushar said he was sick.
Well, if you want to ask for my opinion, I would say don't put more trouble on yourself than you already got.
So I've checked my timer here. We have about 7 minutes before they're going to come and get the work party for the last shift. At the end of that last shift, by the way, is around the time when a certain something Ingrid knows about. But anyway, so we got a few minutes here. Back to Miri real quick. You scurry around. You give me a investigation roll.
Investigation check coming right up.
Real quick.
I lied. My computer is too slow. Why am I not a wizard? That's funny.
You get, yeah, you find, I don't know what happens. You find some.
I can tell you what happens. She like kind of scurries along, and I feel like those cabinets are they like glass covered.
Sure, yeah.
So when she does that and kind of like sails down and try to look at it, she'll see her own shadow, like her magnified shadow, and think this is just a huge spider facing her, like the maiden again. And she'll kind of like drop from the web that she's drawn and fall like on her back on the ground, and then like kind of turn over again and is on the ground now. And she's like, well, Puck, what do I do now?
And that takes up some time.
Yeah, it takes up so much time.
And you have, by the way, you sense you have to change soon. Okay, like very soon.
Yeah.
Back to the cell. Everybody's eating their gruel unless they choose not to. Anyone not eating, by the way, you have to let me know. Anyone refusing to eat, it's not great food, obviously. It's some sort of broth with weird funguses and chunks of tofu-like stuff in it.
No, I think everybody's eating.
Food is food.
Okay, well, you guys have a little bit of time.
Okay. The little mushroom guy, is he like bleeding out? Is he like deadish? What does he look like?
Oh, yeah, he gathered himself up, but no, he was hit hard, and I guess he had a bloody nose in their way, sort of. So he seems okay, though. He's up, brushed himself off.
Okay, well, I'm just going to like gently pat it on the head.
So you go to walk up and pat it on the head.
Yeah, just gently.
Okay, so your character's what does she look like? What kind of? Yeah.
She is a very large, muscular 6'1" woman with white hair and red eyes.
Nice. So I'll get you to roll a persuasion roll here.
And I'm at disadvantage.
You're aiming for a 10.
And I rolled a natural 1.
This is the game of the nat ones, I feel like.
Well, you got a 24.
Well, okay. If you don't want to do the disadvantage yet.
No, you're not. Oh, you're disadvantaged because pardon me. Now, in this case, you're not at disadvantage to this. This is actually something that is a personal thing. It's nothing to do with honor, you know what I mean, or martial prowess and so on, if you follow.
Yeah, okay.
So that 23 is a great roll, and it doesn't run away. You sense that it was going to flee. And it stays there trembling as you go up and pet it. And when you pet it, you hear it in your head. Something appears. Now, it's like this sensation of words, and you hear this is in a young boy's voice, I guess, sort of. It's, hello? Hi. Hello. You're not harmed, Stu, no. It's coming from the thing.
No, I had no hurt.
Now, you say that verbally.
Yep.
And he says, I don't understand. In your head, you hear that. You must think in your mind. I'm in your mind. I have talking in your mind. And you're like, give me an insight roll. See, unless you actually, I'll let you role play.
Okay, yes, I've seen many a crazy talking mind thing today. And I'm gonna try to think really hard and go, hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, so loud, it says. Yes, yes.
Oh,
And this is like image talk. It's not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's alien to you, but you're getting it quickly. You realize, it goes, you are not like others. You're friendly.
But I don't want to hurt you. You are just tiny, and I don't think there is any way for you to hurt me, other than maybe make loud noises in my head. But that is fine.
And you hear this kind of little chuckle, a boy's chuckle in your head. You're funny. Ah, very funny. And you've never been called funny before, quite stern mostly. And so you find yourself chuckling inside your head too. And it kind of, you have this little moment. It goes, I do not like this place. I wish to go home. Can you help me?
Yes. Do you know any way to help get us out of here?
And you can see that he turns around now and he looks up, and you can see that there's sort of facial features underneath the crown of the toadstool cap. And there's a bit of but no mouth, just sort of eyes and perhaps a nose like, because they don't speak or anything and so on. I have someone who can help, and you see him sort of look towards Cereth.
He just punched you. I saw it happen.
And he goes oddly quiet for a moment. Cereth is not in control. I don't understand. There's something he is fighting. But he is promised to help me return back to my grove. And he knows how to get there.
Which grove are you going to? What place is this?
Neverlight Grove. My home, my family is there. There they will give you safety. They will give you supplies. They will help us. They will be grateful. And groves are what these type. Oh, actually, you don't know much about these types, so you're just, okay.
No, I'm freaked out that this mushroom is talking to me in my brain.
Exactly. Neverlight Grove, home, and you feel a sense of warmth and happiness and hearth and home flood into you, and brings back memories of the surface world, which you hadn't thought of for a long time.
Okay, well, I will try to help you also, but I am concerned about Cereth.
Okay, now for an instant, and you can close this, but you feel like your mind is in your mind looking around. And you sense that this is something that you can stop, or you're not sure if he's just like, oh, you have so many different memories and thoughts. Oh, wow. Are these trees?
What was your name? What was your name again?
Stool.
Stool. I don't know if you have ever been told this, but it is considered quite rude to go digging through, memories and things like that. I would prefer if you asked.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Our kind are very free with their thoughts. Are very free.
That is okay. I understand.
And right away, you feel this presence leave and just go to the simple connection. Whereas before, he was like melding and like just going through, and you're not sure how much he saw in your mind, or not, or whatever.
Yes,
but
it is very rude. I am a lady. There are things in there that I don't want.
And he's just, I promise, I never will again. I never.
That's okay. Yes, you can ask, like, in the future, just ask it may be a yes in the future, right? Because if you can see memories, maybe you can see things that I cannot quite remember. It's not a bad thing.
Ah, I see. I'm starting to understand. Cereth will not let me in his mind.
Yes, I have a deep feeling that Cereth is very, very, very sick.
Have you been in Sushar's mind? It is beautiful.
I have mostly been in my mind.
All right. Poker face. Pardon me, I didn't know my camera was off. So anyway, he goes, I understand now. We are still friends. Yeah?
Yes, it is fine. I'm not mad at you. I was just letting you know because you did not seem like aware of this fact, so it is okay.
But I wish to be free, and I will give you refuge in our home place if you need one. It is not far actually from here.
Okay.
Cereth can take us there too.
Okay. I mean, I will try. Can you walk, or what do you do?
And he sits up, and he's got legs.
How fast do you walk?
Like he walks around, and it's a little awkward and gangly, but he moves pretty quick. Does a little jog. Yeah. I will not slow us down.
Okay. Well, if you need help, let me know. I'm very tall, but you can sit on my shoulder. Just don't fall off. I don't want you dead.
Oh, thank you so. And you sense a connection, and then he looks over and he goes, eep, and he sees Ront looking at him like, can I eat mushrooms? And he scurries by. Bye for now. And he scurries off towards Sareth.
Okay.
And you see as he gets a little ways away, the connection, he's gone. It breaks off.
Okay.
Okay, we have a few more minutes for this. Now, I'm not sure much longer you can play. I do have another thing set up, the next work shift. If we want to get to that, how much longer anyone wants to play yet?
Good for probably another half hour or so.
Yeah, I can keep going.
Half hour.
Okay, then that would be a 3-hour mark then, technically. Anyway. Okay, sounds good. We'll set it up then because I envision now things have been going well. You guys are doing awesome. Anybody want to do anything? You sense that, yeah, the shift's going to end. Miri, you sense your time is very limited.
With that, I will try to scurry out and try to go look for Tom, Pipik, or Boughton.
Okay. You won't have time, probably.
That's okay. I just go back into the tunnels where.
Oh yeah.
When I was in my actual form.
Yeah. Okay.
I could also go ahead and be there. So she's kind of sort of expecting like if this doesn't work, like her former form is how she actually looks like now.
Okay. And at this point, I'll let you guys role play a bit more, and we'll actually summarize the session. I actually had a whole other section planned and ready for the work gang, but we'll leave it for next session. Next session, we'll just to give you a heads up, we'll have some action in it. Other than the type of action we've been doing today, which is cool.
Oh yeah, what time of the day is it right now in the sleep pen?
It's now late. It's around supper.
Okay, and the guards are at the gate right now?
There are a couple guards at the gate, yeah.
Okay, then I'll take, I'll kind of like lay down against Taboo's bulk behind it, as though I'm taking a nap, and I'll motion for Puck to come kind of like lay almost like we're spooning like between me and the wall, like just with a look like just come here.
I'm uncomfortable.
It's okay. Gotta just like make it look like we're spooning, like we're snuggling. So I speak really quietly in his ear, which is so much creepier than I intended it to be, but it's happening now.
I don't like this.
I try to say, I'm choosing to trust you, as I said before. So I'm going to show you something, and you kind of turn around in his arms, and he shows you. I'm really doing this cautiously. I can do a sleight of hand and whatnot, even with my coat over it a little. And you see, and he lifts, and his manacles, where the lock is in the middle, undoes. And then he puts it back and puts a twig in and jams the lock again. And he kind of raises his eyebrows. You can see why I had to be creatively sneaky. Sorry for the accidental intimacy.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I did it with the lockpick that I handed you earlier, so now's the time. I think you should get yours off too. Give it a go. I'm gonna block as best as possible for you.
Thank you.
And I will give you I'm gonna give you like a nice little, like very patriarchal rub on your back, and you'll get a bardic inspiration from that. You're gonna do so good, buddy.
I'm confused now. Oh God. I'm like, is this encouraging or is this like a pass? I don't know. I'm like, and I will try and pick the lock out of my manacles.
And I will keep an eye and make sure I keep it covered, like as though I'm kind of covering him with what I'm wearing. So I don't know if that gives him an assist or whatnot.
Yeah, actually, it's a tough. Now, do you have a lockpick set?
I have the pick that Galen gave me.
So if you use that, if you fail, there's a good chance it'll break. So you know. Now it's a 15 roll with lockpick.
All right, come on. I'm good at these. Sleight of hand. Ooh, right on it.
No, I
wow.
didn't even have to use the bardic inspiration yet.
So
you're like, I got it.
Cool. And I'm gonna shove like a little stick in there so it'll stay closed. And then I'll put the pick back in my hair.
I'll say, I think you may have noticed, not sure that's going to last long. It's not exactly a professional tool, but I say the next thing that we use it on is the gate.
Already?
Well, I mean, when an opportunity arises, but again, I was worried I was going to break it on my lock, so what do we think? Do we open the gate, or do we trust someone else enough to release them?
I think we wait, and then we could just break the locks off once we're all out of here.
Who's on this conversation, by the way?
We're just cuddled up against Taboo's heat.
We're spooning.
Yep, good.
Listen, okay.
Against
we need a
Taboo's
plan.
heat?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
We've been passed out.
We need a plan.
Well.
Okay, we still don't have a semblance of a plan. So, you can cast spells. You don't need a focus, do you?
I need some items for some of my spells, but there's some things I can do. I'm not helpless.
Okay. I think that I can cast spells with, and I reach over in Habu's little flap, and I pull out a crystal. I think I can do stuff with this.
Perfect. What do you do?
I'm a tinker. I make things.
I've come across a couple gnomes of your kind in my time in Blingdenstone, but you're rare even for a gnome. that type.
Long lost tradition, one might say. But normally I rely on my tools to cast my spells or to do anything. So that's why I need my stuff really bad. So I hope Spider Girl can bring it back. Or at least tell us where it is.
What about leaving? You said you know the caverns around here, but what about from here to the caverns? Do you have any idea about that?
Do I? Do you?
Now, you're not exactly sure where you are. Now, I'll have to get back to you on that, Alexander, because I'm not sure the nature exactly how you were captured. Like, not that that's the important point. I would have to let me think about that a minute, see if you're familiar with this section of the Underdark personally. Now, you're veteran of traveling in Underdark, so you could find your way eventually, but it helps if you know where you are.
I mean, not per se, but I mean, if you give me time, I'll figure it out.
Then we're in the same position. Well, maybe that's our focus. An opportunity, the return of Mary, and someone who knows how to get from here to the caverns.
Is this happening tonight? Are we doing it?
I don't know. We will know when there's an opportunity. I am confident Saloon brought me here. She will give me the sign when it is time.
Okay. You know, Saloon is really far away. So
She's
start
never
trusting
far.
in your own gut.
She's anywhere and everywhere. Her light sees all. I am not worried. She's the reason I'm here. I am sure. I am meant to be here, Puck. And we are meant to get out of here.
And we're meant to spoon in this position behind a sweaty orc?
I guess that's all part of her plan, isn't it?
Some plan.
Her light is there, but it sure ain't pretty sometimes. Do another rub on the back.
Let's...
And that's
Tonight.
when the door rattles and the guards come for the shift.
I'm just gonna whisper to him, tonight.
Be ready.
And they call out the names, conveniently, of the four of you. Plus, I'll roll to see who else comes. And next session,
I shove stuff in my hair.
You'll be chained together and under close guard brought to another part you guys have never been. And you heard in the rumor mill that they're taking the next work gang to a salvage operation, they called it, as you heard Elvira. Now, I'm going to retro this a little bit. Elvira was talking with the guard because this guard is apparently the one who's assigned to take the work team. So you'll be taking Team C to the salvage operation. And now you can tell this later. You interpret it, right, Kat?
Yeah.
And you'll be taking them to the salvage site. Be careful, it's secured, but could be unknowns in the area. Make sure you bring adequate guards and watch these ones. I sense something going on. I sense they might be getting cocky and have been thinking about their freedom. She sniffs. Feel free to slay anything that get out of line. Or bring them back to sacrifice to the Queen Mother. And then they left. So whoever the next work team is going to the salvage site. Apparently. It's different. It's not the pit this time. And so the four of you I'm going to roll to see who else is selected. It might be Sushar, Cereth, Jimjar, Topsy-Turvy, Ront, or Albeth. I'll roll to see probably for one or two more. Yeah, the cat. Dun, dun, dun. Shape change.
Giant kitty.
Shape change. And we shall wrap up the session with you guys being linked together randomly with these 5-foot chains with your necks and your feet shackled so you can only walk short strides, and under the guard of 4 of these imposing Quaggoth and 2 Drow guards plus 1 elite guy whose name is one of the Quaggoth is Gra.
Yay, Grog.
Jevon is a junior lieutenant who's squad leader type, and he's in charge of these two drow. So they're taking a pretty heavy guard, typical kind of, and it's going to be a little distance. This salvage site. It's apparently an hour travel or something, but they don't really tell you much about that. So
the question. So we've been here kind of a couple of days now. Do we have like a idea of how many like drow there are, how many quaggas there are?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, pretty accurate reading actually.
How many are there?
Roughly a dozen quaggath, roughly 15 drow total. There's some giant spiders lurking around. The place is like it's a death trap if they turn on you. Elvira herself could probably wipe out the party at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe not, but she's powerful. I looked up her stats. I was like, ooh.
Okay.
And
Just
she's
write
a
it
real
down.
piece of work, Elvira. You haven't really known her that well, but she's shown that she's a typical ruthless, cunning, ambitious. And she's female. The Drow, the females, it's a matriarchal society.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I think that's all the questions that I had.
And you can post stuff if you guys wish or whatever, or add to your journal, of course. Add to your characters. I'm always looking at stuff, poking my nose in places. And I work with that stuff, so as you've noticed, sometimes it matters.
Darren,
Yeah.
do I find Pipkick or Boughton or Tom?
Sorry, say again?
Do I find Boughton, Pipkick, or Tom?
Oh, that would be a good question. Because
Thanks.
there's stuff happening in the chasm. There's a bit of a power struggle now. The maidens. See how? Okay, give me a. That would make a. Let's just go with perception.
Is it tracking? That would typically be survival.
Yeah, no, okay,
But
then you're
if
right. I was looking for the right one. It would be more tracking, searching.
Okay. I don't know what I rolled. There you go.
You find Tom. That's it.
And has she by that moment in time already reverted, or is she still the spider? That's your call.
Oh, now you would be reverting. Yeah.
Reverting as she sees Tom.
Yeah.
So basically, this little spider turns into like this medium-sized creature
Hey, Tom's just
right in
and-
front of them.
yeah, and he's of course a bit concerned and then grateful and then and runs up and you guys hug or whatever. And because he thought you were gone, right? Taken.
He like comes up probably because he's a spider. He's the size of a spider, and she's the size of a human now. And he comes up on her shoulder, and she like just this. "Aw."
Yeah. And you guys go, oh, I missed you. And well, he thought you were kind of dead even, right?
Why does everybody think I'm dead? That's so crazy, but I guess
Get
I
thrown
do
off
that too
cliffs and
most of the
stuff and-
time. I guess I do that too most of the time, so it's difficult to say actually. Have you seen the Maiden?
The maidens. Okay, now I'll have to get back to you that. We'll have to play a bit by post on that. I have to
Okay.
make a couple rolls and yeah. So
No
I'm gonna
problem.
I'll stop the recording at this time, and